session. I hope you're well. So, I'm Cecile, I'm the International Director of Time for the Planet, and I'll be here to answer your question about Time for the Planet today. So, I will start with a little pitch. So, anyone who doesn't know Time for the Planet, who has a vague
I hope
idea
you're well.
of what is Time for the Planet, this way you can know exactly what we do, and then you can ask your question. So you can ask your question directly in the chat. So just put your question in the chat and I'll see it. There is always a little bit of time between the time you post your comment and then when I can see it. So don't worry if it takes a little bit of time before I answer. And of course you can just like say hello. I see just Carl just say hello at right now. So hello Carl. And yeah, so, what is Time for the Planet? What do we do? So, first of all, Time for the Planet is a non-profit citizen fund which finance innovations to tackle climate change. I'll already share my screen, so this way I will show you the website, which where you will find all the information, and I will refer to it from time to time. So, just let me share my screen very quickly. All right. So this way you can follow with me what I'm talking about. Right. So that's here the website. You should see. Oh wait, I have to activate actually it. Just here. Yeah. So you should see my screen now. So this is a website of Time for the Planet. So Time for the Planet, our goal is really to focus on greenhouse gases. So to either capture or reduce greenhouse gases by financing innovations. One of the things we do is because we know like a lot of innovators today, they are scientists, people who work in labs, in or in research, or engineers, and they are not all of them are not business people. Lots of them are really great at what they do. Their skills is more on the technical part of the innovation, but they are not really entrepreneurs, or they don't even want to be. Some of them are. Some of them are great entrepreneurs, and I know some of them were, but a lot of them are not. So what we do is when we find a project that we find interesting and we think there is a potential, we will hire an entrepreneur, an experienced entrepreneur, to join the team if it's necessary. Of course, if there is already someone with this skill in the team, we will not add someone else. But if it's necessary, which is the case most of the time, we will add an experienced entrepreneur to the team. So this person will be able to execute, to do all the business strategy, all the business model, all of that, which a lot of time are not in the skills of the innovators. And then we have three core principles in Time for the Planet. The first one is Time for the Planet is for everyone. So everyone should be able to join Time for the Planet, join the project, no matter who you are. If you are a student, if you are an organization, if you already earn a lot of money, or if you just have just £1 to put in the project, you should be able to join. So that's why anyone can become a shareholder of Time for the Planet and be part of the project from one share, which is around £1. And it can be citizens, it can be organizations, it can be a city, NGO, whoever you are, you can become shareholder of Time for the Planet, because climate change is a concern for all of us, not just for one part of the population. And one of the reasons Time for the Planet was created is to be a tool for everyone to be able to act at a bigger scale, not only doing, like small action that we do, daily actions, like for example, taking more of the public transport and less the car and things like that, but actually be part of something bigger and something that is a collective action. The second thing is we share our innovation through open source models. So what we use is free license. So when we have an innovation, we find an innovation and it's mature, we will have a free license that will be available for anyone who wants to apply for it. It's for free, and it's really open to everyone. And if you own the right of the free license, then you will be able to copy the innovation, to commercialize it, and to improve it. With this, you have some obligations. So you have rights, but you have also obligations. And one of them is to share any improvement that is done to the innovation to everyone else who is using the free license, which is very important because instead of competing one against the other, we actually will have people cooperating to make the innovation better. And there are a few advantages to work with free license and with open source model for us. The first thing is the innovation we want to invest in. They are very important innovations when it comes to the fight against climate change. So we need to spread them as fast as possible, and we can't afford to lose them. If we keep the innovation for ourselves, if for any reason we fail, even with the best team and with the best project, with the best ideas, you can always fail when it comes to open a company. So if we fail and keep the innovation for ourselves, then it will be lost, and we don't want that. We want the innovation to be available for everyone because the goal is to spread innovations that will tackle climate change. And the second thing is it will go a lot faster to spread the innovation worldwide because we are working on innovative projects, so they don't really have an existing market yet or a very small one. So instead of creating one company that will have to go abroad to do lots of work to be able to be available worldwide, we will have lots of people working together around the project. And so instead of creating companies, we will create markets. So that's for the open source part. And finally, we are a nonprofit, which can seem a bit surprising for a fund, but we are nonprofit because we don't distribute any of the profit we will get from our investment to our shareholder. So when we get profit from an investment, we will reinvest everything in new innovations. So it's only to keep going and financing more innovations or around climate change instead of distributing the profit. So what our shareholder get, it's not financial dividend, but it's actually what we call climate dividend. So they get a return in terms of impact. And so one climate dividend is 1 ton of CO2 equivalent that is either reduced or captured. And this allows our shareholders to know what the actual impact at the end of the year of the investment. So each year, depending on the shares they hold, they will get this return on their investment and know exactly what has been the impact of their investment. So that's the global thing. I see a few people saying hello as well. Hello, Jeremy. Hello, Chantal. Nice to see you as well. So that's a few people I actually know. Oh, I think that's actually. I don't think if you. I don't know if you know if you see like people questions, but anyway. So hello, Chantal. Nice to see you here. So yeah, so that's a bit of an overview of what is time for the planet. And if you want to go, so there is a lot of things. I think one thing, and that's a question we get quite a lot, is what's our innovation? What kind of innovation we invest in? That's one of the main question I get most of the time. So first of all, to the kind of innovation, the first thing is it has to be around greenhouse gases. So it has to reduce greenhouse gases because that's our main goal, and that's actually what we measure when we have a return on investment for our shareholder, which is in climate dividend. We measure ton of CO2 equivalent. So all our innovation must target greenhouse gases. And our scope of action, so we have 4 levers. These levers that come from the IPCC report. I guess lots of you already know the IPCC report, but if you don't, the IPCC is a group of people who just gather all the publication around climate change, all the scientific publication around climate change, and make a report from it to give us what's in the science today, what is climate change, what's the consequences of climate change, what we can do about climate change. And so from the report, they say that we have 4 levers we have to act on to tackle climate change. The first one is zero emissions. The second one is energy efficiency, then sufficiency to consume less, and finally capture, because even if we reduce our emissions, we still need to do capture because we have emitted too much to just reduce. We also need to capture some of it. So we need all of this at the same time. And we are targeting 5 sectors, which are the main emitting sectors today. So energy, of course, industry, transportation, agriculture, and construction. So with these 5 sectors and these 4 levers, we have 20 problems that we will be working on. So you can see all of them here. If you want to go on the website, it's quite easy to find. You just have to click on find out more, 20 problems, and you'll see the 20 problems we are addressing. So any innovation that will answer one of these 20 problems, it will be in our scope of action. If you are curious to know a little bit more about the innovation we have already in our pipe or already financed, you can find all of this here. So if you click on innovations, so innovation received, you will have all innovation we've been receiving from the beginning. So actually, we received more than 1,000, but a few of them we removed them because it was really out of time for the scope, and it wasn't really relevant to keep them. But we keep most of them here. Then we have a very small pre-filter before it goes to the assessment. So we have an assessment made on basically collective intelligence. So we have people who are called assessor, who are basically people like you, me, anyone. My mother is an assessor, for example. And so assessors, they will just assess innovation. So we train them for 1 hour. So actually Jeremy, who was in the chat saying hello a few minutes ago, is one of our trainers. So we have some people helping us with that. And so after the training, they can just assess innovations, and that will be the first step of our selection. So we need at least 50 assessors to assess one innovation to be able to see if there is a potential or not. So this is the first step. So you see here in this one all the innovation that went through this first step. Then you see the one who went to our scientific committee, which is the second step of our selection. So we have a scientific committee with 14 multidisciplinary experts. So they are from different fields: agriculture, transport, construction, etc. And they meet once every 4 months, and they will have to agree on the innovation we send to them. So they only get the innovations that are pre-selected by the assessors, and they will take the time to really go further, to do audit if it's needed. They can ask other experts to come in. They can just ask questions to the innovator, challenge the innovator. So they really have quite a long time to do that. So there is around 1.5 months between the pre-selection and the scientific committee. So they actually have time to study the innovation a lot more. And once they have done that, they will assess the innovation as well on our 6 criteria. Also, our 6 criteria, which are the same for the assessor and the scientific committee, are the impact, of course, the impact on greenhouse gases, the feasibility, externality. So if there is any positive or negative impact that is not on greenhouse gases, but other externalities, so such as human health, biodiversity, resources, availability, all of that. Then there is the market, the innovative character of the innovation, because we want to have something that is game changing. And finally, the replicability. So we need to have innovation that we can replicate everywhere in the world to have the most impact. So the scientific committee, when they meet, they have to agree on if they want to validate or not the innovation. So basically, what is the rate they will put on each criteria. And if it passed the scientific committee, then you will find them in the market test. So that's the innovation that went through the market test. Here we go to see actual clients, to really have meetings with potential clients, presenting the innovation, the project, seeing if they will buy it, if something is missing, what's their feedback. We also test the team at the time, and that's when we will have an entrepreneur joining and starting to work with the team to see if they work well together. So it's basically to know, how is the team going? Is it working well? Do we have a market? Do we have a potential? What's missing? What are the next steps if we want to make sure that this innovation can hit the market? And once we have done that, we will submit the innovation to the general meeting. So the general meeting is for all shareholders, no matter if you have just 1 share or 1 million shares. You will be invited to the general meeting, and we will present the innovation to you. So you will have an investment note. You will be able to know exactly what are the conclusion from the assessment period, from the scientific committee, from the market test. We will also tell you, well, what we think is needed for the next step, how much money money we think is needed. Do we need 1 million to hire a technical director, for example, and make a demonstrator? So whatever it is that we think is useful, and we will put all of that in the investment note. So you will be able to choose if you want to validate this or not. So if we have, for example, 3 innovation that we want to present to you, you will have the 3 innovation with the investment note of the 3 innovations, and you will be able to vote yes or no for each of them. So you can say yes for all of them. You can say yes for 2 of them and no for another one. So it's not related. You don't have to choose one of them. It's really each one you say yes or no. And finally, if you want to know which one we have invested in already, they are all here. So we call them the stars. And so our stars, we have 5 stars today. So last year we invested in Leviathan Dynamics, Carbon Time, and Beyond the Sea. And this year we invested in Cool Roof and Shiva. So that's the 5 innovation we have already. We are probably going to have a few more by the end of the year. We don't know yet which ones because it's still in process, but we should have more before the end of the year. Just to give you a very, very quick definition of each one, and if you have questions around them, just ask me after. So Leviathan Dynamics is about producing cold. So today, when we want to produce cold, either for a cooling, a refrigeration, you have a lot of process in the industry. You need to as well cool down the machines, for example, or the raw materials, all of that. So today, to produce cold, we use mostly HFC gases. HFC gases, they are gases that are on average 2,800 more powerful in terms of warming powers than CO2, and they represent 2% of the global emissions today. So that's quite huge. It's the equivalent of the aviation sector, so it's quite impressive actually. And as this innovation, Leviathan Dynamics, they replace this HFC gas by water using compressors. So we basically remove all the greenhouse gases from the process, and we have a double advantage because we can save up to 30% energy when we use Leviathan Dynamics compared to the system used today. So we have both saving of energy, which is really important when we talk about decarbonizing our economy, and we remove all the greenhouse gases. Then we have Carbon Time. Carbon Time is an innovation where we are working on capture. So here we use olivine. Olivine is a mineral that we can find in volcanic rocks. It's a very easy to find mineral. And this mineral, when it comes in contact with the ocean water, it will capture CO2. So that's a natural process, but we accelerate it by grinding olivine and putting it on beaches. So this way, with the wave coming in and out, it will accelerate the process, and we will have a potential of capture that is huge. So this one is a product that has been in research for years and years, more than 20 years, but it's never been like really commercialized. And that's one of the things at Time for the Planet we are here for, is to take a project that is at the research level and is not going on the market and put it to have it actually on the market. So that's what we are working on with Carbon Time. And then we have Beyond the Sea. So here we are using kite sails. So if you do kite surf, you know the kind of sails. It's just a lot bigger sails because we are working with a marine merchant. So the goal is to reduce the emissions from the marine merchant ships because today it represents a huge amount of emissions as well. So here we use this kite sail to pull the ships. We are able to save around between 20 to 80% of fuel. So it depends on the routes, it depends on the winds. So there are different parameters, but basically it's from 20 to 80%. And knowing that the fuel is today around 90% of the emission of the marine merchant ships, it's a huge impact. So that's what we do with Beyond the Sea. And then the 2 new ones, as we actually made the investment during this summer, so it's very new. Shiva is to produce green hydrogen and to have a better production of hydrogen, green hydrogen, which one of the problems today in green hydrogen is we don't have a very good yield when it comes to the like the electrolyze. So it's to have a better electrolyze by having a treatment of the electrodes, and so this will allow to have a better yield. So it's around 30% in labs. So that's one of the things we are going to test right now in with our first investment, is to check what is the improvement exactly in real condition. And we also have another advantage, is thanks to the treatment of the electrodes, we are able to use any water. So we don't need to use purified water. We can use any water, which make it a lot easier for to use anywhere in the world. And also it remove the process. So if you remove the process, you have less energy, less transport, less everything as well. So it has an impact, a positive impact as well. And finally, Cool Roof. Cool Roof is a very nice low-tech solution. So this one is basically about lowering the temperature inside the buildings. So we use a white paint, which will be applied on the roof of the buildings. And the goal is basically, because you will have reflectability of the light of the sun rays, you will lower the temperature inside the building. That's actually something that has been known for years, centuries, because you can see like cities in Greece, for example, which are all white, and that's basically the technology behind it. So it's a very well-known way of doing. The innovation itself is in the composition of the paint. So we use oyster shell, which avoid to use any components that can be harmful. So we reduce as much as possible any harmful component using oyster shell. And also oyster shells, they have a reflectivity that is very high. So we have 95% of reflectivity, which has a better, it cools down the building better. And also it has a huge durability. So we have, it's 20 years. When you apply the paint, you have 20 years without needing to paint again, which is also very useful and reduce the impact of having to paint as well. So that's it for our stars. That's the 5 we have today. We will actually have a general meeting very soon. So our shareholder will meet on the 17th of September. I had like a small time to remember the date. So on the 17th of September, our shareholders are invited to a general meeting. We have 3 general meetings a year, so every 4 months, to, of course, vote for our investment, for the new innovation we are going to invest in. But we also take this time to all the juridical things. So our general meeting can be a little bit long sometimes, especially the first one of the year, because we have lots of juridical things. But it's every 4 months, and all shareholders are invited. We do it both in French and English. So it's actually in French, but we have an English translation at the same time, so you can watch it if you want to. So that's about it around the project. And just very quickly, because if you like the project, you might wonder how you can participate to it. So if you are on the website, so the buy share is a quite obvious one. So if you want to buy share, you can just click here. It will open this page. You can say if you are a citizen or a company. So if you are, for example, an individual and you want to buy share, you will have this page that will open, and you will be able to buy share. You have lots of explanation just there. So if you want to go through all of this, it will explain to you how it works, the basics of the project, and mostly what I told you. It's very fast to do. It's just 5 minutes, so you can do it online. But that's not the only way to help Time for the Planet. So let's say you just want to invest £1 here, so you will do it, and then okay, I put £1, but I also want to do something else. So you can help in many ways. So you can become an assessor. That's one of the things I was talking about before. You don't need to be a scientist or to have any specific skill or to be an expert in any field to be an assessor, because we rely on collective intelligence. So the goal is to have everyone able to join. So if you want to become an assessor, you just have to click here. You have a little bit of explanation and you click on register. we have sessions regularly. So basically, we do assessment period for 1 month and a half every 4 months. The next one will start on 1st of November, and we start the trainings around 2 weeks before. So you can already register to them, but it will be in mid-October, the next ones, and so we do the training session during all the assessment period. So that's one of the things you can do. It's very easy. You don't have a minimum time to do it. You can do it. You can do it once a year. You can do just assess 1,000, 100, maybe not 1,000, 100 innovation in a year, just one, zero 1 year, and then 10 the next year. It's really up to you. So we don't have any limit minimum you have to do. You have here in hand, you have a few actions that we share to you. So for example, sharing on social media or sending an email to your contact, all of that. So we explain what you can do, and you can join the Galaxy of Action. The Galaxy of Action is our community. So we have people from who are shareholder and want to help Time for the Planet grow, and they will be part of a community which is called the Galaxy of Action. The principle around the Galaxy of Action, and which is why it's called the Galaxy of Action, is really to have people do what they want to help Time for the Planet. So we tell them our needs, which are basically awareness, brand awareness around Time for the Planet, and fundraising, and then they can do whatever they want. So if you want to help and you want to organize a conference, you want to contact a newspaper, write an article, whatever it is, you are able to do what you want. Some people are doing uh, runs, different things. So really, it's up to you, and you just have to go to a 1 hour presentation. So we explain to you how it works, and then you can help Time for the Planet how you want. So that's our Galaxy of Action. If you go here, you will see that there is a little bit of explanation. But anyway, the best is just to register to a training. So you have just to click on join the Galaxy, and you will have the dates of the next trainings you can register to. So I think that's all for helping. And yeah, of course, as an innovator, if you are an innovator, you can submit your innovation, which is just here, and then you will just have a very easy to fill form, which is a few minutes, a few questions. You answer the few questions, and then you will be able to just put some documents, and that's it. So it's quite easy and straightforward. So that's it. I think I saw like Jeremy saying join us to assess those projects. Yeah, because we need more assessors. So the goal is to have as many people as possible. So if we have more people, then we can have. It's easier for us to process more innovations, and we need at least 50 assessment for one innovation to be relevant. So we need as many people as possible, and really don't worry if you're not an expert, you can be part of the assessor. And on the contrary, we need people with all kind of profiles. So that's what in collective intelligence is about. So yeah, so I don't know if you have any question. I gave you quite a nice overview, I think, of Time for the Planet, of what we do, of the projects we have. So maybe you don't have any more questions, but if you do, just post them in the comments. And if you don't, I'll just wait a few minutes. And if you don't, I'll just go back to my work, because I mean I'll never get bored. So I always have things to do. So it's really, if we early to finish, that's fine. So there is always a little bit of time between the two. So I'm waiting to see before I leave. So if you have questions, I can see them. All right. Seems like it's all good. Yeah. Well, I think that's all clear. I answered all the questions just by explaining Time for the Planet. So yeah. So if that's all good, I'll just let you go back to you. Well, if you didn't have lunch yet, go back to enjoy your lunch, and I'll go back to work. Thank you, everyone, for being with us for this session. And we do this every first Monday of the month in English. We might do more if we need to at one point, but right now we don't have yet the need of doing it. But for now, it's every first Monday. Oh, sorry, there is a door that just there is wind near me, so that the door just closed a little bit. With a little bit of noise. I don't know if you heard it, but anyway. So we do it first Monday of the month, every first Monday of the month, always the same time from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. Well, depends which time we finish, but we start at 12:30 UK time, so it depends where you are. But we are based on UK time for this one. We also have French ones, but uh, I mean that's for French people, and it's on Thursday. So yeah, that's it. Have a good day. Have a good week, and a good month as well. And I guess a lot of you are coming back from summer break, so I hope it's going well. And I'll see you next month. Bye bye.